to Catching Up with Council. I'm your host, Leah Longbreak. Today we're catching up with Ward 14 Councilwoman Jasmin Santana. Welcome.
Hi Leah, how are you?
Great, it's such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you.
Start off by telling us a little bit about your history and where you grew up.
So I was actually born at Metro Health Hospital, right? So this is in the ward that I represent. But I grew up in between the Detroit Shoreway and Ohio City neighborhood. And so I moved to the ward that I represent when I was 14 years old.
You've been there ever since.
Ever since, yes.
So now you're in your first term, and you made history, city history, by being the first Latina elected to city council, which is outstanding.
Thank you.
What made you decide to run to begin with?
Well, the neighborhood that I represent, you know, I've been working in the neighborhood, for many, many years in nonprofit organizations, one being Metro Health. And I grew up there. So I would say, I cannot necessarily say that it was a thriving community, but it was a community that, you know, had the healthy housing, had a lot of youth programs, had a lot of, you know, had parks and a lot of sports for the youth. And then as I was growing up, I just started seeing it like deteriorate, you know, and I noticed that a lot of neighborhoods around us were being developed. And then our neighborhood sitting in the middle of these neighborhoods, nothing was happening. Right. And so working also in a healthcare institution, there was a huge disconnect. And then our residents were very unhealthy, right? And we had the opiate epidemic and the infant mortality and the lead issue. And so the resources and the education and the awareness were not getting to our residents. And so I knew that there was a huge disconnect. So just being from the neighborhood and understanding the needs of our neighborhood, right? Being able to relate, I decided to, you know, take the huge step and run for city council.
And so, here you are now.
And here I am. And I would tell you, I would have never, ever imagined me in this position. So I'm very grateful and blessed to be able to serve the residents.
Now with your role, you are an example for women, especially young women, when it comes to leadership and politics. Do you think that we need to see more women in politics?
Definitely. I think we bring a different perspective to the table, and you know, it just is something, we bring something that, I'm trying to think, hold on. So yes, I think we bring a very different perspective to politics. You know, we're able to relate as a mom, as a wife. We are able to actually put ourselves in our husbands' or men's shoes, right? Yeah. So yes, we're needed. We're very nurturing. We're multitaskers, so it definitely, I would love to see more women in politics. I will tell you though, it's not easy. It's for you to be able to, not anyone could do this. You have to be very passionate about what you do. So if you run, and I always tell women when they ask me, if you run, you gotta make sure that you are willing to sacrifice some things that, you know, and some family time, you know, some fun time, and sometimes some me time, self-time. Right, yeah. To be able to serve others. Yeah. So
Ward 14, great ward. Tell us the neighborhoods that it's comprised of.
Okay, so I have a little bit of Tremont, like on the north side, closer to Metro Health. I have the Clark-Fulton area, which is where I live currently, Stockyards, Brooklyn Center, and then West 73rd, which really there's no name for it, but it's part of like the West Boulevard area.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Sure, we'll have one.
For sure. So we're looking for that name and that branding. That's great. That neighborhood, yes.
So in that, you mentioned Metro Health before, and Metro Health is undergoing this billion-dollar transformation right now. What is the kind of the timeline going on with this development, and how do you think it's going to impact the neighborhood? Okay,
so the development's already started, you know, you'll see already a lot of construction on the campus, so very exciting. And I would just add that in addition to that $1 billion transformation, we have the mayor's neighborhood transformation at $4 million. And then we have, you know, our neighborhood Clark-Fulton area was picked for the Facts 50, which is like some tax credits to bring affordable housing to our neighborhood. So it's like the time is right, and to be able to leverage all this development that's going on is very exciting. And once going back to what I mentioned, nothing for decades has happened in our ward, and all of a sudden this year it's booming, right? And it's exciting, and you know, we're gonna see improved workforce in our neighborhood, healthier homes, parks, green space. So I really envision a very a healthy community where families are walking up and down the street, going to businesses, because it's also attracting a lot of sound investment in our neighborhood. And so it's already started, even before the development, right? It's moving forward. People are already reaching out and opening their business in our neighborhood.
Are you seeing the residents being more encouraged and wanting to be more proactive and involved by seeing all this happening?
Definitely. There's so much momentum in our neighborhood right now. I mean, people they're looking for houses to buy. People that have been renting for so many years. It's like, I have decided that I'm going to stay here. And there's residents that are opening their own business, and I help a lot with the promotion so that even outsiders could come and support them. And so they just feel more confident opening that business in our neighborhood and investing in the neighborhood. So.
Speaking of new businesses, the Clark-Fulton area, there's this slew of new restaurants opening up. What do you think is creating this new wave of dining coming to the Clark-Fulton area, and what do you hope to see in the future with this?
Yeah, we're finally, getting the message across that, it's the high concentrated Latino neighborhood, right? So this is the place to open your Latino business, because a lot of the businesses that have open are Latino businesses, food. But once again, they know that there's investment is coming to our neighborhood. And so they're confident opening that business and being able to sustain it. Where back then, they were leery of, just because of the lack of jobs. And we serve, Ward 14 is a very impoverished neighborhood. But we're working and we're helping and we're investing in the people so that they could help and invest in these businesses.
Are there any development groups in the area that's also helping with all of this?
So what we're doing right now, just coming in, what I realized is there wasn't a master plan for Ward 14, right? And so I'm not sure how people work without a vision, right? And they say if you don't have a vision, you perish, right? So right now what we're doing is we're working on very comprehensive Ward 14 master plan that includes all the stakeholders, developers, residents, and there's a core team which consists of Metro Health, the Cleveland Foundation, Metro West Community Development Center, and my office. And what we do is we just kind of help engage the residents, bring the stakeholders to the table and say, what does our neighborhood need? Make sure that the development reflects the needs of our neighborhood and that the residents are at the table and that they're driving this development, this agenda. So that's where we're at right now, and it's very exciting because it hasn't happened. And so just in about, I would say, a year, we're going to actually have something tangible to say, these are our goals for our neighborhood. And something that's equitable for all.
Yeah, and for more residents, people to get involved, that maybe it's just learning about this.
Exactly.
Yes. We have a lot more to dive into, but we have to take a quick break. So don't change that channel. We'll be right back with more Catching Up with Council.
Here at Metro Health, you know you matter when it matters most. Here, we are the city's best at preparing for the world's worst. Here, we are the only verified burn center in Ohio for adults and children. Here, you'll find exceptional clinicians with extraordinary hearts. So the work we do here at Metro Health makes an impact here, out here, and right here. Metro Health, we're here for you, for all of you.
Welcome back to Catching Up with Council. I'm your host, Leah Longbreak. Today we're catching up with Ward 14 Councilwoman Jasmin Santana. So there's this great initiative called La Villa Hispana. Tell us about this initiative.
La Villa Hispana.
La Villa
So it's been been a long time vision of previous community leaders. And it's basically it's a neighborhood, it's a destination located in the Clark-Fulton area. And it's a place that has Latino businesses and has cultural art. And a place for the Latino families in our neighborhood to feel this sense of pride. I want to be able to go to the store and pick up the ingredients, right, that I cook with, and eat my food. And also for other, I serve a very diverse community, so to be able to have non-Hispanics come down and experience our culture. So, you know, we envision flags, you know, different. I mean, I have Mexicans, I have Dominicans, and there's so many Latinos. You know, of course, the majority are Puerto Rican, but there's so many Latinos in our neighborhood.
You want to make sure everyone's incorporated.
Definitely, and we don't have that. You know, and Hispanic population is growing substantially. So to be able, even not only for my ward, outsiders, right? Latinos are all over the city. To be able to actually come to Clark Fulton and experience that atmosphere where you feel like you're at home is very important to us. So we're going to continue this vision to make sure, till we ensure it happens.
Where in the Clark Fulton area is this?
So
area?
25th and Clark. But it goes all the way to Fulton Avenue.
So it's all considered part of this.
Exactly. And we already have some businesses for this La Tiendita, which is a business incubator, and Hispanic Business Center worked very hard to get that started and going, and it's been thriving. And right now we have like cupcakes and Latino food, and we actually have a little store where they actually have Latino products there, and you know, they sell T-shirts, and they all speak Spanish. Many of them don't speak English, but it's okay, right? Because the people that are actually going there speak the same language. So, and these types of businesses, it's just causing a ripple effect for more businesses to actually open.
The cycle, it's great because people then are moving in and investing and continuing on.
Yeah, and we're getting so much art, I would tell you. I mean, they're working on the utility boxes with a lot of art, and everything is just culturally relevant, which is exciting. Yes. You know, it really represents our culture in the ward.
So you'll know when you're driving through the neighborhood, you'll be able to see and know that you're
in the La Villa Hispana, yes.
So housing, there's a lot of single-family homes that are being developed in your ward. Where exactly in the ward, and how's that project coming along?
So Cleveland Housing Network, new construction, scattered sites, and they already started. They've actually already finalized 22 in the Stockyard area, which they also call International Village. So I have a high population of refugees there. So once again, I tell you, I serve a very diverse neighborhood, but so that's already finalized. The families have already been placed, and so there's a lot of families that came from other areas, other wards to our neighborhood. And you know, I make sure that I welcome them, and we're just kind of excited. And they're very diverse, the people that moved there. Actually, we had some families from Puerto Rico, you know, from Maria, the hurricane. Yes, and so two of the families have been able to purchase their home. So we're excited about that. And then now the next phase starts in July in the Clark Fulton area. And this was a partnership with, you know, Cleveland Housing Network, and then HBC and Metro Health, my office, and Metro West Community Development Center.
That's so great.
Yes.
So blight and dumps tend to be an issue in a lot of wards, but you're working hard to make sure that it's out of yours, and as well as cleaning up parks. Tell us where the progress is on this.
Okay, repeat that again, I'm sorry.
With the dumps, the dumping and the blight, I know you're working hard to clean everything up and make sure everything gets taken care of, as well as making sure parks are cleaned up. Yeah. Where are you with that progress?
Okay, so there's a backstory to that, right? So before I actually, was elected, my son, we would drive around the neighborhood, he would get this huge anxiety in looking at all this litter and garbage. And he was just so adamant, like, we need to move out of here. And I had no idea how much the environment was affecting him. So as soon as I was elected, Stockyard has high illegal dumping because of the transfer station. So once they get turned away, they drive to, you know, Denison Avenue, Stockyard area, and they dump in the alleys. And so that's where I placed the majority of the dumpsters. And the word has gotten out. The residents are using the dumpsters, and we are seeing less dumping. It's still happening, right? We haven't totally taken care of the problem, but it has decreased. And so I just want people to know, like, the importance of beautifying our neighborhood, keeping it clean for our children. This really affects our kids' state of mind, and they walk through these neighborhoods to get to school. And so they should not have to live in this unhealthy environment. So the word is out. The residents are really excited. They're actually calling me all the time, like, where are you going to put the next dumpster? So you see them cleaning their yards during the weekend. So it's just, you know, starting something small, making sure that people are aware and educated of the problem, and so that they could help be the change that we need to see in our neighborhood.
Something else that you're working on changing is you have a women's development and health initiative called SEEDS, the
Yes.
SEED Project.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
So SEEDS is called Freshly Rooted Seeds, and then C stands for Support, Educate, Empower, Develop, and Sustain. And so this program came about is, I grew up single mom, and so she was brought from Puerto Rico at early age to clean houses and take care of her family, and so she didn't get the education that she needed, and so she rarely made ends meet. So she sold a lot of clothes and cooked food and so that we could get like our Christmas presents or anything like that. So just kind of growing up in that atmosphere, we grew up with many challenges, and I grew up with a lot of insecurities and a lot of just barriers and walls, and definitely was limited to dreaming big, right? Just did not have that type of mentality. And so it wasn't until I started working at like Metro Health that my manager, she really believed in me and she mentored me. And I got the education that I needed. And then I became the person that I am now, more secure. I was able to, even with my identity as a Latina, it was hard. You don't know where you belong. You're sitting in these meetings sometimes, and you're sitting with people that got their PhD and all these degrees, and then here's you, right? This Latina with so many barriers and challenges, and you're worried about speaking up for your community. And so I went through all that. But once again, with the mentorship, once I got healthy, mind, body, soul, spiritually, that I was able to be confident enough to actually run for city council. So SEEDS is that type of program. It's a development program that helps women physically, personally, socially, and it addresses trauma, because we all got trauma, right? Yes. And so it's a 9-month curriculum. It is very long and extensive, but we're investing in you. And so in the end product, we want to make sure that we're linking them to workforce development. If you want to open your business, we have the organizations in place. If you want to go back to school, we actually have the partners in place to actually help you. And so it's going to increase economic growth in our neighborhood. And most of the women that are part of this program are single moms.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I get excited about that program.
It's a great way to give back.
Yes, exactly. And I think for you to do good legislation, you have to understand what is happening, right, in the grassroots level. So they help me understand what are the barriers, so then I become a great legislator at City Hall. So.
How can we get information on this program?
So I have a Facebook page. It's called Jasmin Santana, Ward 14. And so if you just like it, we're pretty engaged with that social media, so we're always posting. Or they can reach out to my office, 216-664-4238.
What's the best part about being a councilwoman?
Serving people.
Yeah.
Serving people is what I absolutely love to do. Just once again, to be able to identify a challenge, a problem, and be able to have the influence and the power to change that and make it better. I am so grateful for my position, and I will continue doing it with so much love and pride.
What's the worst or hardest part?
I think what's difficult is when you have to make a final decision, right, on some legislation or vote on, and that some of the residents don't understand what's the larger impact of why you are voting for something. And so that's hard, to be able to please everyone. It's difficult.
And you can't
always. And you can't, and so usually I make my decisions on something that's going to impact the larger group of the neighborhood. So it's tough, but hey, you just do it. What I've learned is as long as you stay true to yourself and you're honest, transparent, at the end, they'll probably be mad at you in the beginning, but then it'll go away. It'll be fine.
They'll appreciate your honesty.
They'll appreciate, yes.
Anything else you think we should know about you or Ward 14?
So Ward 14 is definitely not going to look the same in a few years. And so, I thank my partners. I thank the mayor and the administration. They've been so supportive, Metro Health, and just you know, I'm working with the Metro West CDC, you know, and we just been working so hard together to improve the well-being of our families. And with all the development that's happening in our neighborhood, like I said, it's not gonna look the same, and I'm like super excited. I am so joyous, and I came at the perfect timing. And I think my journey has prepared me for such a time as this. So, very blessed.
How can we get more information, both you personally and with Ward 14?
So, page, my Ward 14 Facebook page, definitely make sure you like that. And I have an Instagram, which is also Jasmin Santana, Ward 14. You could always call our office to get on the mailing list. We do mail out, or you could provide your email to my office at 216-664-4238, and we will add you to the email list, and then you will get emails from us.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure
Thank
to have
you.
you.
For your time.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to Catching Up with Council. Of course, we'll have all this information for you on our website, tv20cleveland.com. I'm Leah Longbreak. Till next time.